Assalamualaikum, I'm Tala Suhail. I welcome you all to Virtual University's program on Personality Psychology. Dear students, today is our lecture number 31. In this 31st lecture, we will be talking about Henry Murray's personality. हम जनाब अभी बात उसी थ्योरी ही करेंगे जो हमने लेक्चर नंबर 30 में शुरू की थी. We are going to move on with it and focus on the same theory. So let us recap what we did in lecture number 30. देखते हैं कि हमने 30वें लेक्चर में क्या किया था. Henry Murray's personality. The term personality was used by Murray, which refers to understanding of an individual in its complexity. तो जनाब, we began in lecture number 30 with Henry Murray's personality, and personality is the construct or concept which Henry Murray uses in defining, discussing, going through the complex nature of human personality. So, Henry Murray is trying to understand the complexity of human personality through the construct or concept of personality. जनाब, हमने आपसे बात की थी और ये कहा था कि throughout his life he gave us a number of definitions of personality. सबसे पहले उसने कहा personality is an abstraction. It is something hypothetical. Number 2, he referred to personality as something which is spreaded over a longer span of time. यानी it begins from childhood and goes up till adulthood. So personality is spreaded over a longer span of time. Number 3, personality refers to novel uniqueness of an individual. Number 4, it focuses that personality is in the brain. So it is the thinking, perception, attitude, belief system which is reflected through the personality of an individual. और पांचवी अहम डेफिनेशन और चीज जिसके ऊपर हेनरी मरे ने फोकस किया, दैट इज दैट ह्यूमन पर्सनैलिटी जनरली इट टेक्स इनटू अकाउंट एंड इट ट्राइज टू रिड्यूस हिज कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. नंबर 2, इट फोकसेस ऑन अटेनमेंट ऑफ सर्टेन लाइफ गोल्स. इसमें हमने आपके लिए मिसाल ली थी of a budding or an emerging television producer, और हमने ये कहा था कि suppose if we have to study the personality of a television producer, we can say the personality is hypothetical and abstraction. Number 2, it's going to focus on the personality of the TV producer from childhood up till the adulthood. Number 3, it's going to focus on his uniqueness, novel attributes of his personality, the unique training, education that he goes through. Number 4, हमने कहा कि personality is in the brain. So, television producer's personality will be reflected through his thinking, through his imagination, through his perception. बात आपसे हो रही है हेनरी मरे की पर्सनालिटी की, और हमने ये कहा कि ड्यूरिंग हिज करियर ही केम अप विद ए नंबर ऑफ डेफिनेशंस ऑफ पर्सनैलिटी, और जो आखिरी डेफिनेशन है उसका फोकस जो है वो है दैट पर्सनैलिटी फंक्शंस ट्राइज टू रिड्यूस कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स. नंबर 2, ए पर्सनैलिटी फंक्शंस फोकसेस ऑन अटेनमेंट ऑफ गोल्स. तो जो मिसाल जिसके ऊपर दैट एग्जाम्पल विच वी आर कंसिडरिंग टेलीविजन प्रोड्यूसर, उसमें फोकस होगा कि दिस इंडिविजुअल इज गोइंग टू रिड्यूस द नंबर ऑफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स दैट ही और शी कम्स अक्रॉस, एंड नंबर 2 is going to focus on the attainment of certain future goals such as becoming the in charge of the entire television productions. So that is how we went through. Dear students, then we went through the biographical sketch of Henry Murray, और हमने उसमें ये देखा कि basically he was a student of embryology. Number 2, he was focusing on biochemistry. He did his PhD in biochemistry, but by chance he had an opportunity to read a book by Carl Jung of psychological types. ये किताब उसने पढ़ी और उसकी दिलचस्पी नफ्सियात में पैदा हुई. Now this book is important because it changed his direction. So he gave up his career in biochemistry and shifted towards psychology. Now, we went through the core concepts of his theory. We covered some of the concepts. The leftover concepts will be covered in this lecture. So, let us see how many core concepts are there. Number 1, definition of personality. Number 2, proceedings and serials. Number 3, serial programs and schedules. Number 4, ability and achievement. Number 5, dynamics of personality, that is need, stress, tension reduction, thema. Need integrate, unity thema. Needs में we talked about types of needs, primary needs, secondary needs, overt needs, covert needs, focal needs, diffuse needs, proactive and reactive needs, process activity, modal need, effect needs, integration of needs, levels of analysis, tension reduction, thema, need integrate, vector value scheme, genetic maturational determinants, learning, uniqueness, conscious processes, the socialization process, characteristic research and research methods, जिसमें बात आपसे जनाब रहेगी. Number 1, intensive study of small number of normal subjects. Number 2, the diagnostic council. Number 3, instruments of personality measurement. Number 4, representative studies. Number 5, current research. Number 6, Mackeyland and social motives. Dear students, these are the core concepts given to us by Henry Murray. जनाब, पिछले लेक्चर में we covered with you the biographical sketch. We went through what is need, types of needs. हमने आपके साथ डिस्कस की कि what is a need, types of needs. We did talk about integration of needs. बात की आपसे लेवल ऑफ एनालिसिस की. तो दैट वाज एज फार एज वी वेंट अहेड इन लेक्चर नंबर 30. सो टुडे वी विल बी बिगिनिंग with the leftover constructs and concepts, very interesting ones, and you will enjoy them a lot. So let us begin with today's lecture. So we'll be talking about stress. Just as the concept of need represents significant determinants of behavior within the person, so the concept of stress represents effective and significant determinants of behavior in the environment. In the simplest term, a stress is a property or attribute of an environmental object or person that facilitates or impedes the efforts of the individual to reach a goal. Stress are linked to persons or objects that have direct implications for the efforts of the individual to satisfy their strivings. बात आपसे जनाब हो रही है एक बहुत important construct and that is stress. हमने ये कहा था कि a need is a mental structure which is in the brain and it's a force, and this force organizes one's perception and thinking. Stress, on the other hand, it refers to characteristics of the object or the person that is there in the environment. और ये object या ये person जो है, it either facilitates or impedes the satisfaction or the fulfillment of a need. तो जनाब बात आपसे हो रही है प्रेस की, और हमने कहा कि प्रेस इज द एट्रीब्यूट और प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ द इन्वायरमेंट, और जबकि नीड जो है वो एट्रीब्यूट या प्रॉपर्टी है या of the individual. So need is inside the individual, the press is in the environment. So focus हम कर रहे हैं आपके सामने प्रेस के ऊपर, और हमने ये कहा कि प्रेस refers to significant determinants of behavior within the person. So press represents effective or significant determinants of behavior in the environment. The press of an object is what it can do to the subject or for the subject, the power it has to affect the well-being of the subject in one way or another. The cathesis of an object, on the other hand, is what it can make the subject do. By representing environment in terms of press, the investigator hopes to extract and classify significant portions of the world in which the individual lives. Clearly, we know a great deal more about what an individual is likely to do, and if we have not only a picture of his or her motives or directional tendencies, but also a picture of the way in which the person views or interprets their environment, it is this function that the press concepts are designed to fulfill. Murray developed various lists of press for particular purposes. Representative of these is the classification which was designed to represent significant events or influences. In practice, these press are not only identified as operating in a given individual's experience, but they are also assigned a significant rating to indicate their strength or importance in the individual's life. It is important to distinguish between the significance of environmental objects as they are perceived or interpreted by the individual, beta press, and the properties of those environmental objects as they exist in reality or as objective inquiry discloses them, that is alpha press. जनाब बात आपसे हो रही है the construct of press, और हमने ये कहा कि the construct of press refers to attributes or characteristics of the object or the person that is present in the environment. और असल में हम ये इसलिए देखना चाहते हैं बिकॉज वी वॉन्ट टू नो मोर अबाउट द एनवायरनमेंट ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल. सो एक्चुअली प्रेस रिफर्स टू पोर्शंस ऑफ द वर्ल्ड ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल, और हमने इसमें दो तरह के प्रेस की बात की, बीटा प्रेस एंड अल्फा प्रेस. बीटा प्रेस रिफर्स टू हाउ एन इंडिविजुअल परसीव्स एंड इंटरप्रेट्स रियलिटी, यानी एक इंडिविजुअल किस तरह परसीव करता है और इंटरप्रेट लेबल करता है रियलिटी को, और अल्फा प्रेस रिफर करता है द एक्चुअल रियलिटी, हाउ इट एग्जिस्ट. जनाब हमने आपसे कहा कि प्रेस रिफर्स टू एट्रीब्यूट्स और कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ द एनवायरनमेंट, द पर्सन्स और ऑब्जेक्ट्स दैट आर प्रेजेंट इन द एनवायरनमेंट, and whether these persons or objects they facilitate or they impede the satisfaction of certain needs or not. दूसरी तरफ हमने आपसे बात की कि there is a beta press, that is how an individual perceives reality, or alpha press which refers to how actually the reality is. तो reality है कैसी, alpha press, और एक इंडिविजुअल उसे कैसे देख रहा है इस बीटा प्रेस. द इंडिविजुअल्स बिहेवियर इज मोस्ट क्लोजली कोरिलेटेड विद बीटा प्रेस, बट इट इज नेवरदलेस इम्पोर्टेंट वी डिस्कवर सिचुएशंस in which there is a wide discrepancy between beta press to which the individual is reacting and the alpha press that actually exists. जनाब बात आपसे हो रही है प्रेस की, और हमने उसमें आपके लिए दो कॉन्सेप्ट्स पे फोकस किया, एक बीटा प्रेस और दूसरा है अल्फा प्रेस. बीटा प्रेस इज रिफरिंग टू how an individual perceives and interprets reality. Alpha press is referring to what reality actually is and how it exists. जनाब ज़्यादातर तो ये है कि our behavior is more closer टू अल्फा प्रेस, जिस तरह एक रियलिटी एग्जिस्ट कर रही है. लेकिन अगर ऐसे हो कि बीटा और अल्फा प्रेस में बहुत ज़्यादा डिस्क्रिपेंसी हो, तो देन इट इज़ गोइंग टू क्रिएट ए प्रॉब्लम फॉर द इंडिविजुअल. उसके बाद एक और बहुत अहम कंस्ट्रक्ट और कॉन्सेप्ट, एंड दैट इज टेंशन रिडक्शन. अकॉर्डिंग टू हेनरी मरे, all your bodily physiological needs are referred to as tension. यानी मुझे भूख लगी, मुझे प्यास लगी या मुझे आराम चाहिए is reflected as a state of disequilibrium or tension. अब जब तक ये नीड एग्जिस्ट कर रही है, there is disharmony, disequilibrium. Once the need is fulfilled, tension is reduced, equilibrium is reestablished, and individual or organism is satisfied. So that is tension reduction. तो जनाब देखते हैं कि टेंशन रिडक्शन क्या है. Number 5, tension reduction. Murray conceived of individual as set into action by a complex set of motives. Further, he granted that when a need is aroused, the individual is in a state of tension, and satisfaction of the need involves reduction of the tension. Finally, the organism will learn to attend to objects and perform acts that it has found in the past to be associated with tension reduction. Although this conventional formulation met with Henry Murray's approval, he contended that it is an incomplete picture. Not only does the individual learn ways to respond in such a manner as to reduce tension and thus experience satisfaction, but also he or she learns to respond in such a manner as to develop tension so that it can later be reduced, thereby enhancing the amount of pleasure. Dear students, we are talking to you about tension reduction, और हमने ये कहा कि tension reduction refers to that there are certain motives, and these primary motives are referred to as tension. And once these primary motives are satisfied, tension is reduced. So soon the organism learns what acts and behaviors are going to facilitate him in the process of tension reduction. और एक ऑर्गेनिज्म ये तक सीख लेता है कि किस तरह अपना बॉडीली टेंशन लेवल इंक्रीज किया जाए और फिर उसके बाद उसको रिड्यूस किया जाए टू ड्राइव प्लेजर. तो जनाब, hunger is a tension state और thirst is a tension state, और जब आपको खाना या फूड मिल गया तो that leads to tension reduction. एक और बहुत अहम कंस्ट्रक्ट और कॉन्सेप्ट, and that is thema. A thema is simply an interactive behavioral unit. It deals with interaction between needs and stress. With it, one can represent the situations that lead to operation of particular needs as well as outcome or resultants of the operation of these needs. Themas vary from simple formulation of a single subject-object interaction to more general and of longer transactions, and they also include formulations that represent combination of a number of simple themas, serial themas. The thema as an analytic unit is a natural outcome of Murray's conviction that interpersonal relations should be formulated as a didactic unit. That is, the theorist not only must represent the subject who is the focus of interest, but also must represent fully the nature of the person with whom the individual is interacting. Consider two examples as well. जनाब, बात आपसे हो रही है थीमा की, और थीमा refers to the basic interactive unit. Interactive unit between subject object or interactive unit between subject and subject. There can be a single unit and there can be a multiple interactive units. Let's go back to lecture number 30. लेक्चर नंबर 30 में, जी बिल्कुल जनाब, हमने आपसे बात की थी प्रोसीडिंग्स और सीरियल्स की, और ये प्रोसीडिंग्स और सीरियल्स वही हैं जिनको लेबल दिया गया है थीमा का। तो अपनी पर्सनैलिटी थ्योरी के एक स्टेज पे वो कह रहा है प्रोसीडिंग्स एंड सीरियल्स, और दूसरी स्टेज पे ही हैज डेवलप्ड अनदर वेरी फैंसीफुल लेबल एंड दैट इज थीमा। सो बोथ आर रिफरिंग टू द सेम थिंग। क्या? दैट इज एन इंटरएक्टिव बिहेवियर, and this interactive behavior between subject and object relations और subject and subject relations, और हमने कहा कि ये subject object relations, subject subject relations, they are of sufficient durations, and since they are of sufficient duration they contribute equally, they have very a lot of importance। तो जब मैंने कहा subject object interactions of sufficient duration, so an individual working on the computer or an individual flying an aeroplane for a sufficient period of time, it refers to thema or it refers to proceedings। ठीक है जनाब। दूसरी तरफ हमने कहा कि सीरियल से मुराद या थीमा सीरियल से मुराद हम ले रहे हैं कि एक इंटरएक्टिव यूनिट ऑफ सफिशिएंट ड्यूरेशन एक्सटेंडेड ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, सच एज इंडिविजुअल्स रिलेशनशिप विद द अदर इंडिविजुअल इन फॉर्म ऑफ मैरिज, फ्रेंडशिप, और लेट्स से a career in business। So we have talked about it at length. So these are the two examples which you should keep in mind. So जनाब, thema, another very important concept given to us by Henry Murray. Number 7, need integrate. Although needs are not necessarily linked to specific objects in the environment, it often happens that with experience, the individual comes to associate particular objects with certain needs. Likewise, particular modes of response or means of approaching or avoiding these objects may be acquired and associated with the need. Example, hunger need is there and the burger is the desired food item. Mode of response includes going to the canteen at lunch break. Dear students, we are talking to you about another important concept and that is need integrate. तो जनाब बात यूं है कि there is a need and you associate specific objects with it. एक need है और आप उसके साथ कुछ मखसूस ऑब्जेक्ट्स को कनेक्ट कर देते हैं, दैट इज कॉल्ड नीड इंटीग्रेट। हंगर इज अ नीड एंड यू इंटीग्रेट दैट व्हेनेवर यू आर हंग्री यू फील लाइक टेकिंग अ बर्गर, and the process of mechanism is that going to the canteen, sitting there, ordering for a burger, eating it and satiating yourself. So that is need integrate. Need is there, object is there, connection with the object, and a process and a mechanism. So connecting these together, what we call need integrate. With this integration of the need and the image or thought of environmental object as well as instrumental acts has taken place, Murray speaks of a need integrate. A need integrate is a well-established thematic disposition, a need for a certain kind of interaction with a certain kind of person or object. तो जनाब हम need integrate को कहते हैं thematic disposition, where a specific need is integrated with a specific object and follows a specific mechanism and leads to satiation or satisfaction. So that is thematic disposition or need integrate. Vector value scheme. Murray proposed that behavioral tendencies be represented in terms of vectors that represent broad, physical or psychological directions of activity. The values that the vector serves are represented by a series of value concepts Although the scheme was not completely worked out, Murray provided tentative lists of values and vectors. Dear students, we are talking to you about a scheme which Henry Murray tried to develop, though it was not fully developed. He was still working on it. सबसे पहली चीज तो ये क्लियर कर लेते हैं, वेक्टर क्या है, वैल्यू क्या है और स्कीम क्या है. Vectors are quantities which have what magnitude and they have direction. तो vectors वो quantities हैं जिनमें एक जो मखसूस किसी मिक़दार को जाहिर करते हैं और सिमत को भी जाहिर करते हैं. Now when we are talking about vector value scheme, so Henry Murray is trying to focus that all your motives, all your needs are vectors, they have magnitude and they have direction. और ये जो vector value connect होती है through a process which is labeled as a scheme, as a method, as a process. So what did Henry Murray do? उसने कोई vectors और कोई motives और needs को equate करने की कोशिश की और दूसरी तरफ उसने एक लिस्ट डेवलप की जो कि इनकी वैल्यूज को रिफ्लेक्ट करे. द वैल्यूज दैट द वेक्टर सर्व्स आर रिप्रेजेंटेड बाय अ सीरीज ऑफ वैल्यू कॉन्सेप्ट्स. Although the scheme was not completely worked out, Murray provided tentative lists of values and vectors. The vectors consist of rejection, reception, acquisition, construction, conservation, expression, transmission, expulsion, destruction, and avoidance. The values consist of body, physical well-being, property, useful objects and wealth, authority, decision-making power, affiliation, interpersonal affection, knowledge, that is facts, theories, science, history, aesthetic form, that is beauty, art, and ideology, system of values, philosophy, and religion. In practice, it is intended that these vectors and values will be arranged in a matrix of intersecting rows and columns so that each cell in the matrix will represent behavior that corresponds to a particular vector in service of a particular value. Dear students, it was Henry Murray who gave us a vector value schema, जिसमें there's a list of vectors, number 2, their respective values, and these vectors and their respective values are represented through a matrix. और इस matrix का जो एक cell है वो हमें through the rows and columns one particular vector represents a particular motive and its underlying value. और clearly बताने की ये कोशिश कर रहा है कि each motive, each need, each vector has its own specific value as well, which is represented in this matrix, which is called vector value scheme. Thus, it is now possible to represent an individual at any point in time as a complex integrate of needs and traits, of vectors and values, as well as personality structures, abilities, achievements, and sentiments. Dear students, so it is now possible through this vector value scheme that we can represent an individual across time along with need and traits, vector and value through his achievement, ability and sentiments. तो इन सारी चीजों के जरिए we can clearly explain the personality of an individual. Another very important concept, and that is genetic maturational process. Murray in 1968 ascribed an important role to genetic and maturational factors in the development of personality. He conceived of genetic maturational processes as being responsible for programming a succession of eras throughout an individual's life. Dear students, we are talking to you about Henry Murray's genetic maturational determinants of behavior. हमने ये कहा कि for Henry Murray, an individual passes through a successive eras. और ये जो successive eras हैं ये 3 हैं जनाब. और ये जो हर era है, it represents certain period in which certain maturational processes are taking place. So, we say an individual passes through a period or era of development, which are 3 according to Henry Murray. During the first era, that is of childhood, adolescence and young adulthood, new structural compositions emerge and multiply. Number 2, the middle years are marked by conservative recompositions of the already emerged structures and functions. In the final era, the capacity for forming new compositions and recompositions decreases, and the atrophy of existing forms and functions increases. Within each period, there are smaller programs of behavioral experiential events that run under the guidance of genetic controlled processes. Dear students, we are talking to you about genetic maturational determinants of behavior. और हमने ये कहा कि every individual according to हमारे passes through 3 eras of development. The first era, which is of childhood, adolescence and adulthood, और ये वो era है जिसमें new structures are emerging. Number 2 is the middle era, और इसमें ये होता है कि already existing structures of perception, motivation are modified, reshaped. और तीसरा, the final era, where the already existing. So dear students, the third era is where a modification in the already existing further takes place. आप ये कह सकते हैं कि every era of development is equally important, क्योंकि हर era of development every era of development is being controlled by a very genetically controlled set of factors. So every era of development is being controlled by a genetic set of factors. Dear students, that is as far as genetic maturational determinants of behavior is concerned. That is, an individual passes through 3 eras of development. The first era, where childhood, adolescent period, where concepts, perception, motives are developing. Second era, where we see that there is a re-evaluation, more adding of new motives and concepts. And the third one, where there is no more increase, rather there is a decrease, and re-evaluation, recomposition of motives and other things takes place as well. Dear students, that is as far as genetic maturational determinants of behavior is concerned. आइए जनाब बात करते हैं कुछ आपसे एक और बहुत अहम कंस्ट्रक्ट और कॉन्सेप्ट की, और वो है लर्निंग. लर्निंग consists of discovering what generates pleasure and what generates distress for the individual. These hedonic and anhedonic generators may be classified in several ways. They may be retrospective, that is, memories of past that were delightful or distressful. The aspective, that is, current experiences, or prospective, anticipations of future pleasures or pains. Current generators may be classified according to whether they are located predominantly in the person, in the environment, or in the interpersonal transactions. These generators may be further subdivided. For example, generators in the person may be located in the body, in some emotional center of the brain, in some type of psychological process, or in the judgments of conscience. So pleasure, that is hedonic, distress, anhedonic for the individual, retrospective, memories of past experiences that were delightful or distressful. Number 2, aspective, that is current experiences. Number 3, prospective, in anticipations of future pleasures or pain. Dear students, we are talking to you about learning. हमने ये कहा कि as an individual matures, he goes through certain hedonic, pleasureful experiences in his life and hedonic, certain distressful experiences in his life. So, there are hedonic and hedonic generators within the individual's environment. अब ये जो hedonic and hedonic generators हैं, they may be within the person, they may be within the environment, they may be there in the transactions that are taking place between people. बात आपसे हो रही है जनाब लर्निंग की, और हमने कहा कि लर्निंग कैन बी प्लेजरेबल रिलेटेड विद hedonism and hedonic distressful under anxiety, under tension. फिर हमने कहा कि the important thing is that these hedonic और anhedonic generators can be within the person, इंसान के अंदर हो सकते हैं. Number 2 in the environment, and number 3 in the transactions, interactions that are taking place between people. Another important thing is when we are talking about these generators, they can be referred to with reference to number 1 retrospective, that is all memories which are pleasant or memories of unpleasant events, so that refers to retrospective perspective, that is with the past, or spective, that is current, the current pleasant unpleasant things which are there. आपसे बात करना मुझे अच्छा लग रहा है, so that is a spective and a pleasant spective experience that is taking place. Then prospective, future experiences, referring to future experiences which can be pleasant. मैं perceive कर सकती हूँ कि हाँ हमारी आइंदा transactions और interactions भी pleasant और अच्छी होंगी, और can be painful. So learning refers to, basically according to Henry Murray, a set of hedonic or anhedonic generators that are there in the environment, in the person, or in the transactions that are taking place between person. और ये generators जो हैं, they can be related to retrospective, related to the past, can be related to spective, present, or can be related to the future. So dear students, that is as far as our construct or concept of learning is concerned. Let us talk about another important concept, uniqueness. Murray always maintained the essential uniqueness of each person and even of each behavioral unit. Uniqueness. साइमा इसे मैं दोबारा रीड करें. Number 11, uniqueness. Murray always maintained the essential uniqueness of each person and even of each behavioral event as a self-evident fact. His respect for naturalistic observation and his creative, intuitive literary talents made it easy for him to grasp and express compellingly the individuality and complexity of each subject or event. जनाब बात आपसे हो रही है uniqueness की. Henry Murray was of the opinion that each individual is unique and each event that is taking place is unique. So he was of the opinion and he favored the concept of uniqueness related to persons and uniqueness of the events that are taking place between persons. Another important construct, and that is unconscious processes. Among academic psychologists, Murray was one of the first to accept the pervasive role of unconscious determinants of behavior. Not only is the individual unaware of certain tendencies that influence behavior, but more important, some of these tendencies are actively defended against or warded off from consciousness. Thus, Murray not only accepted the role of unconscious determinants of behavior, but also recognized the operation of Freudian mechanisms of repression and resistance. Dear students, we are talking to you about a very important concept given to us by Henry Murray, and that is unconscious processes. So Henry Murray is one of those personality theorists who accepts that there are unconscious processes. Number two, he thinks that there are certain events or experiences which we resist or which we ward off or which we suppress or which we consciously hide and do not talk about them consciously. So he is of the favor that there is a number of unconscious processes that are there in human beings, or he is second. He is the one who is trying to second Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud's defense mechanism of repression and resistance. यानी बहुत सारे हमारे ऐसे एक्सपीरियंसेस हैं जिनको हम कॉन्शियसली सप्रेस करते हैं और सप्रेस करने के बाद we resist them to be expressed consciously. So he is one of those personality theorists who favors the concept of unconscious processes. Another important concept, number 13, the socialization process. Murray suggested that the human personality is a compromise between the individual's own impulses and the demands and interests of other people. These demands of other people are represented collectively by institutions and cultural patterns to which the individual is exposed to. The process is socialization. Conflicts between the individual and the approved patterns of society are customarily solved by means of individual conforming to the group patterns in some manner. An essential element in achieving the goals of socialization is the development of adequate superego, an internal structure that serves to reward and punish one when one is behaving appropriately or inappropriately in terms of culture patterns as interpreted by these authority figures. This implies that the parents, as the most important authority figures, are the chief agents of socialization process. The effectiveness of parents in rewarding approved and punishing disapproved patterns of behavior which largely determine the success of this developmental process. An important component of the parent's role as socializer is the effectiveness with which they develop a mutually affectionate relationship with the child, so that mere approval or disapproval can serve as a significantly motivating conditions in controlling the child's behavior. Dear students, we are talking to you about socialization process. जनाब बात यूं है कि as an individual is growing up, he is interacting with people, and as a result of this interaction with people and objects in his environment, the socialization process begins. Now, in this process of socialization, there are significant persons. These significant persons are the agents of socialization. These significant persons include parents, teachers, peers, companions, chums, pals, and many more individuals as well, such as political leaders, religious leaders, neighbors, or any individual which somehow has a good relationship with the child. Now, these agents of socialization, they permit certain patterns of behavior, they approve of certain patterns of behavior, and they disapprove of certain patterns of behavior. वो behavioral patterns जिनको approve करते हैं, for that the child is rewarded. जब वो सच बोलता है, जब वो अच्छा काम करता है, तो he is being rewarded. और वो behavioral patterns, when the child is disobeying the parents, is not moving according to the norms of others, that is significant persons, or he is not obeying the norms set by institutions, that is by the society and by the culture. तो जनाब जब एक इंडिविजुअल वो सारे behavioral patterns में involved है, which is being approved by the society, by individuals, he is rewarded. और जब वो उन बिहेवियरल पैटर्न्स में इन्वॉल्व है विच आर नॉट अप्रूव्ड बाय द सिग्निफिकेंट पर्सन्स एंड बाय द सोसाइटी, बाय द इंस्टीट्यूशंस, ही इज पनिश्ड. So that is how socialization process takes place. So this socialization process, it takes shape with the help of agents of socialization, which include significant persons, and number 2, institutions, society and culture. और ये individuals, institutions, that is society and culture, they approve of certain behavior patterns, और जो behavioral patterns ठीक है उनके लिए reward किया जाता है, और वो behavior patterns जो कि approve नहीं है, for them the individual is punished. Dear students, we are talking to you about Henry Murray's socialization process. Now let us begin with his research techniques and research methods. Number 14, characteristic research and research methods. Let us examine very briefly several distinctive qualities of Murray's general approach to personality research. Number 1, intensive study of small number of normal subjects. Murray was convinced that an adequate understanding of behavior must follow a complete and detailed study of individual subjects. Just as case study has provided indispensable assistance in the growth and development of medical sciences, so the future of psychology is linked to the willingness of investigators to take the time and effort to understand thoroughly individual cases. Group relations are important only when accompanied by a careful inquiry into the deviations within the group and conditions that cause or accompany these deviations. To report a finding that characterizes 80% of a specific group is of little value unless some explanation can be provided for the failure of the other 20% to fit into this pattern. Murray's consistent emphasis on this point was one of his principal contributions to research methods. Dear students, we are talking to you about characteristic research methods given to us by Henry Murray. और हमने ये कहा कि सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट बात यह है कि his focus was on individual case analysis. Instead of studying group populations, his focus and attention was on studying individual cases. Number 2, his focus was on normal subjects. His sample of study was normal subjects, not clinical population, not sick population. तो हमने कहा कि सबसे पहली बात कि उसने जितनी रिसर्च और इन्वेस्टिगेशंस की वो इंडिविजुअल केसेस पे उसने फोकस किया. नंबर 2, हिज इंडिविजुअल केसेस वर नॉर्मल सब्जेक्ट्स एंड दे वर नॉट सिक और दे डिड नॉट बिलोंग टू द क्लिनिकल पॉपुलेशन. Number 2, the diagnostic council. Murray placed great emphasis on the importance of the observer or the psychologist as an instrument in psychological research. Although we may use rating scales, category sets or psychological tests to appraise personality, still at the base of all these instruments is the sensitive observation of the investigator or clinician. Because of the root status of the observer, Murray was convinced that the more attention should be paid to his serious efforts directed at improving their powers of observation. These considerations led him to refer to psychologists as the most important instrument of precision in psychological research. दूसरी अहम चीज थी, and that is referring to the diagnostic council. Now, in this process of doing research, the most important individual is the clinician, and the preciseness and the precision shown by the clinician in making observation is the most important thing for Henry Murray. One evident means of placing checks upon and improving the quality of observation is to have multiple observers all examining the same data from a different perspective. Thus, using a number of investigators to study the same individual or individuals offers unique rewards in form of cancelling out limitations posed by biases of particular observers or the limitations offered by a specialized set of data. तो जनाब एक और इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज वो ये थी कि एक ही बिहेवियर पैटर्न हो एक ही behavioral phenomena, उसे a number of observers should record it and code it so that an accurate account of behavior and accurate account of behavioral assessment can be done. So Henry Murray forwarded these recommendations to the Diagnostic Council, and he thinks that focus should be on individual cases. His focus is on normal population, observation by the clinician very precisely, and using a number of observers doing the same set of observation, ताकि उसमें जो biases हैं, prejudices हैं, वो निकाल दिए. Dear students, we have been talking to you about Henry Murray's personality. जनाब, इसमें हमने आपसे उसका biographical sketch डिस्कस किया. उसमें हमने आपके साथ डिस्कस की what is a need, different types of need. We talked about press, thema, need integration, levels analysis. और जनाब अभी हमारी एक छोटी सी बात रहती है, and that is about his very important psychological test, TAT, thematic apperception test. But we are short of time, we are pressing for time. We'll try to cover it in the next lecture. Dear students, I hope you have enjoyed listening to this lecture as much as I have enjoyed talking to you about Henry Murray's personality. I tried my best to come up with all the constructs, all the labels with indigenous examples. Please go through the Word document and the PowerPoint slides that are available on the web page of your course, Personality Psychology. Do write to us. Do go through things which are still not clear to you. Do ask us queries. We'll try to respond to them, and take very good care of yourself. Up till our next lecture, it is Khuda Hafiz from Virtual University Studio.